Hey everybody, welcome to the Scarred Thumb Podcast. We're starting today with some more Palworld news. This is from Video Gamer by Caleb Smith. Palworld to partner with Xbox to get heavily requested PC feature on console. Over a dozen players have entered the sandbox world of Palworld since its early launch in January. This has made it one of the biggest Xbox Game Pass editions of all time for Microsoft's subscription service. And the following its monumental success, Xbox is partnering with Palworld to bring a heavily requested feature to PC Steam, exclusive to PC Steam to consoles. It always needs to be reminded that this survival hit is early access only. Pocket Pair is committed to fixing bugs and stability through the updates and patch notes for 1.4 and so on Steam and Xbox. In additional features, the roadmap promises more pals, bosses, islands. But what Microsoft is working is that they've improved the quality of Palworld on Xbox consoles and revealed Palworld is the biggest third-party Game Pass launch of all time. Through the console, Windows has gained, but I think the real thing here is going on and on. Xbox is working with Pocket Pair to help provide support for Xbox version of the game, and we'll be providing support to enable dedicated servers, offering engineering resources to help with the GPU and memory optimization, speeding up the process to make Palworld updates available to players, and working with the team to optimize the title for our platform. This commitment to bring dedicated servers to console is fantastic. Dedicated servers are currently exclusive to the Steam version. They allow players to play with friends privately on their own remote servers to remove issues such as lag, connectivity problems. Hopefully this makes it a way for Xbox consoles sooner than later. What Xbox is realizing is they have essentially a console exclusivity with Palworld. It's not coming out in PlayStation. If it does, it'll be years to come. And I have a feeling that one, Switch can't play it, and two, I don't know if Nintendo wants Palworld on their console. There might be some bad blood there. But we do have Palworld. This is from Xbox Wire, Microsoft. Obviously the biggest launch, over 7 million players on Xbox. This is a huge hit for Xbox, who really hasn't had any exclusives, and I guess this isn't an exclusive. It's still on Steam. It's got over 12 million on Steam. So Palworld has been doing incredibly well, and Xbox is looking to help them out, providing support for Palworld, especially with the servers, which brings us to our next article, which from PC Gamer here, Tyler Wilde, Palworld servers cost nearly $500K per month, $500,000, as a network engineer is ordered to never let the service go down, no matter what. Wait, maybe we'll go bankrupt from server fees, joked the Pocket Pair CEO. Monster collecting survival game Palworld has amassed astonishing 19 million players. That the extraordinary success isn't coming cheap for the indie developer. Palworld's projected February server cost is over 7 million yen, according to a post. That comes to over $475,000. Wait, maybe we'll go bankrupt from server fees, joked Mizobi. I won't worry too much. Pocket Bear says it sold about 12 million copies of Palworld on Steam at $70 each. That puts Palworld's gross revenue at $36 million so far. And that's ignoring Xbox sales. It's on Game Pass too. Steam's revenue cut drops from 30% to 20% after a certain threshold, but for the sake of argument, let's see, Steam is giving a flat cut of 30%. That still leaves Pocket Bear with $252 million before expenses. $6 million a year in server cost. Doesn't quite look so untenable next to that number. On the order to never let the service go down no matter what, we have repaired our servers without regard to cost. Which, to be fair, I haven't played on their official servers, but the fact that I haven't had, the services don't seem to have been going down, or, that's not a major complaint, especially for an indie game, is pretty insane. Stuff like Diablo. Even Diablo 4 had some server issues when it was going down. And obviously, Blizzard, gigantic company. It always seems like anytime a new game comes out that's actually does relatively well, it becomes with a lot of server problems. So it's kind of weird to see a CEO say, "Hey, it doesn't matter what the cost is. Do not let these servers go down." Hey, Deborah, how's it going? Palworld obviously isn't going to keep selling 12 million copies a month, and unlike other online games, that justify their high upkeep and ongoing development with premium cosmetics and seasonal moneymakers like battle passes, contains no microtransactions at the moment. Out of curiosity, I plugged Palworld into Steam currency figures peaked at over 2 million last month into a pricing calculator for Amazon's game hosting service. It was easily coming up with figures in excess of millions of dollars per month, depending on variables like the number of game sessions per instance. I'm a little astounded that Palworld and whoever is paying $500,000 a month having handled its phenomenal success so smoothly. I can't imagine a small indie developer like Pocket Pair, which is immediately experienced, keeping up with those kind of demands for a decade or so. Even so, the biggest developer, which would have been overwhelmed, Diablo 3 and Error 37, just back in 2012, Diablo 3 amassed fewer players in this first year that Palworld has in 2 weeks. Thanks, the cloud. I don't know what they're saying so far. Number of players playing Palworld at the same time will surely settle into a lower number as the year progresses, reducing costs. So obviously it's going to get lower, but man, this is insane. $500,000 every month just in server costs. So this brings up like an interesting question whether, success obviously it comes with its own issues. And Palworld's has them between like potential lawsuits from Nintendo, people faking NFTs, certain things like this, the server costs, how do they sort of ramp up their development and keep players interested. They just released a patch which said it was fixing some problems, but it has its own problems. And obviously the Palworld AI is still not good at the moment. It's harder to, it's still hard to assign stuff to Pal's to certain things. Their priorities for their AI seems a little bit whack. So there is definitely some issues here. So the question will be, and Palworld doesn't have any DLC, which is surprising for a modern game, especially when people are accusing the CEO of, he just wants to make money. He's just throwing some stuff together and copying other IPs and just trying to make the super money-making game, and he did it. But they don't have any microtransactions, no cosmetic DLCs, which is standard fare for every AAA title now. We'll be talking about one such thing later with Suicide Squad, but yeah, it's we'll see. Is Palworld's future as rosy as it seems? Maybe not. If still costing $500K per month, so things are gonna have to hopefully Xbox will handle some of that. I definitely could see them helping it out. Especially considering that this is kind of, in a way, it is like Xbox's like exclusive version of Pokemon. It's the Xbox Pokemon right now, since it's PC and Xbox, two very Windows titles. But not everyone's happy, and this was an interesting tweet by this is Nathan S., who made Dead by Daylight. Palworld crossing 2 million CC moved it past CSGO. Sorry, this is a little bit small. I don't know if there's a way to open image in new tab. Way to expand. Here we go. Palworld crossing 2 million CCU moved it past CSGO to trail only PUBG in Steam's all-time currency records. However, it's already cleared the record holder for how quickly I became sick of talking about a game. I don't think Palworld is very good. It's insanely buggy. Oh, and hey, hello Swerve, hello Vince. Good to see you guys. Seems like it's been released in a better state than most AAA. Exactly, Vince. And it definitely has seemed to handle its launch bizarrely for like for like completely unexpected success, it seemed to be doing better than a lot of AAA releases, and I don't quite understand how. It's insanely buggy. The game's most dangerous enemies are random holes in the map. Combat is boring and repetitive. Balance is awful. This really becomes apparent mid and end game when catch rates seem to decrease and your own weapon's damage drastically outseal what your pals are capable of. The large open world is empty, littered with points of interest that aren't home to anything interesting. But the combination of two strong loops is powerful stuff. Monster taming is just one more catch. Crafting is just one more building. So I'm getting a different amount of just one more. And since I'm weak, I admit I've played a great many hours and beaten all the towers. Which, if he's beating all the towers, he's either A, got to be cheating, or he's playing a lot. However, I won't be chasing all the legendaries. I'll do my best to resist the new content when it arrives. So he's not happy so far, apparently. When, like, look, these criticisms, like it's buggy, combat's boring and repetitive, balance is awful. I mean, I'm not necessarily with the combat and the balance. Open world empty, I can kind of definitely agree with that. But, I mean, these are, valid criticism, so you could definitely say, like, hey, this is, you're pretty right on this. But here's at the early access to Windfall should generate allowed to deliver on its roadmap. But let's see. But here's the thing that I think is where he gets it wrong. I'm sure both bounce bugs will be addressed, yet it's missing something here I don't think any amount of money could fix. There's no warmth here. At the risk of being saccharine, what makes Pokemon special is the bond you form with your adorable ball dwellers. And this bond is a source of something more approaching a ludonarrative harmony. I had to look up ludonarrative in case you don't know what it is. It's essentially where the story and the gameplay work together. Ludonarrative harmony is where story and gameplay work together to kind of like emphasize this point of the strongest hitters, those who have the greatest connection with their Pokemon. So Pokemon does a good job of this, is what he's saying. And the fundamental tenet of the franchise is that there's power in empathy. Nothing hammers the idea home better than the first episode of the anime series, which this is, again, where I don't get, why is he mentioning the anime? What does that have to do with the game itself? One of the greatest episodes of anything ever, when Ash is willing to sacrifice himself to save Pikachu. I don't understand how you compare the games to the anime. Here it's kind of weird, but this is the main point that I think he gets wrong, as I don't think Pokemon does a great job of making you care about your Pokemon. They're almost always exclusively used for battle. You rarely hang out with them outside of these battles. And, sure, there's a story in Pokemon that kind of like leans to like, all right, Pokemon aren't weapons. You're fighting against Giovanni, Team Rocket, or whatever team they have in the game, which is, abusing Pokemon to gain power, and you have to beat them to become the master of Pokemon. So there is kind of a rejection of the, using Pokemon strictly for your own self-interest. But again, I just don't think the gameplay itself lends it to it, especially compared to Palworld, which, you have your pals out, they're in your base, you're living with your pals. I mean, they are doing work for you, and there is like, a sense where it's kind of like irreverent to the pals. You can butcher them, you can kill pals. So there's that. I mean, it's not like super respectful of pals. Treat them as like these precious little furry creatures. But I think the gameplay itself makes you care about your pals more than you care about Pokemon with the base system. And the way like they'll complete a task and they'll look at you and they're really happy, like, oh, I did it for you, buddy. Like, thanks. Right? And then you can pet them. So I don't agree with this point. I think he's wrong on that with the warmth part of it. I mean, sure, it does, like I said, have a kind of like a little disrespectful tone towards the respect for life of the pals, because you can definitely turn them into slave labor, work them hard. So we'll move on. As Case Marshall wrote in the great piece for Polygon, the problem is I don't particularly care about any of my pals. I caught 100 pals. I won't remember a single one. These creatures are just disposable resources and labor. I select a side that remind me of more of slaves in Conan Exile than in Pokemon. Which, I mean, I guess you could take it that way, but the way I think they made the pals and the way they sort of interact with you. Like I said, the way they like smile at you when they get a task done, and the way they'll like slack off or get sick. I think you end up caring about the pals a lot. So I don't know what Cass is talking about. I know what this guy's talking about, Mr. Nathan S., who is works for Dead by Daylight, is talking about it. I never got that. I never got that impression. I'm hard the first to make this point, but the greatest takeaway is that Palworld is a missed opportunity for Game Freak, who has been taking a devoted player base for granted far too long. Hope this serves as a wake up call, which I definitely agree with. I think the greatest thing for Palworld, especially on the Nintendo side, is that Pokemon wakes up and they actually realize, hey, we actually have some competition now. Maybe we can just step up our game and actually make, a game that would put Palworld to shame. And when these indie developers on a $7 million budget are annihilating, your Pokemon is apparently the biggest franchise of like all time in terms of sales. When they're outdoing you, then something is dramatically wrong, and they should be embarrassed. Frankly, Pokemon should be embarrassed right now that they have been outdone by like nobodies in game development. This behemoth has been taken down. But that's it for Palworld. We'll move on to Palworld. Let me give it like in 1 second. Let me get a drink here. I'll be continuing to cover Palworld news because as long as I'm interested in the game, which hasn't gotten old so far. Yeah, Game Freak could actually innovate for the first time in 15 years. I'm hoping they will. I'm hoping Game Freak will actually take this to heart and realize that, hey, we need to take some risks. The old formula that we've been milking forever maybe isn't it for the future. Maybe we actually need to innovate and give players something new to make them excited. Because, like I said, this is a simple Palworld's a simple game, but the fact that it's actually trying to do something new with sort of the old Pokemon formula is enough to get people, ridiculous sales, bonkers type of engagement. That's all they needed to do, and it's like I said, it's embarrassing for Pokemon. We are going to shift gears. We're going to be talking about Blizzard Entertainment, because it has a new president. Introducing Joanna Faries as the new president of Blizzard Entertainment. Dear Blizzard, this was my official first day with you all this February 5th. I want to let you know immediately that it is an honor to join you next week in this new capacity. I do so humbly and in awe of all that Blizzard stood for and delivered to the world over 30 years. I also bring them some mixed emotion, the loss of a talented teammates. In recent days, it's hard to hold side by side with the immense excitement I feel about joining Blizzard and building momentum you've created for Blizzard's next chapter. And guys, if you're wondering, here is Joanna Faries. She is a woman of color. As everyone might be, I don't know why she chose the Lilith there. Is she comparing herself to the devil? I don't know. But onward. This is Joanna Faries. So immediately some people might thinking, woman of color. Like, whoa, here we go. And I tried to do some research on her, but we'll have Grums here. He's a former lead for World of Warcraft, Harvard graduate with a history of marketing and executive functions, most notable for the NFL in 12 years, and no word on game dev experience. Seems like zero. This won't be good for Blizzard's. Esports is dead, bro. I called it years ago. She is she has some experience being the commissioner for COD, Call of Duty, their league. So she worked in the NFL. She worked in this capacity, and over here, this is prior. This is some of her history prior to that. Ferris led efforts to amplify its reach, relevance, and popularity with key fan segments as vice president on marketing and fan development, where her charter included growing the NFL's fan base in the near long term. Viva Priority Assets, global partnerships, brand content marketing, tentpole events, which include the creation of NFL's My Cause, My Cleats initiative, record-setting evaluations of the NFL draft. In our last year, a company's very spearheaded developments of the league's social justice initiative. Working closely with owners, players, and third-party organizations to establish a new foundation of collaboration and impact services to communities nationwide. Early in her tenure, she served as Director of Consumer Products. Blah, 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 blah. Throughout her career, Fairies has held executive positions in a broad range of diversity, inclusion, and career development and mentorship programs. Continues to do so as a senior leader advisor to Activision's African Americans, Black, and Friends Employee Network. So is she like a DEI baby? It kind of looks like it. Burrs grew up in a multi-sport athlete in Potomac, Maryland, lived abroad in both Israel and the Dominican Republic, and also a singer-songwriter and resides with husband in Los Angeles and sons in Los Angeles. She was raised Jewish. So if you're wondering about her early life, and she later converted to Christianity. And this is one of the My Cause, My Cleats, Equality Now, Just World for Women and Girls. This is an NFL thing, by the way. So, what's that to do with the NFL? But as we look into her background, let's take a look. I tried to do some research, see some interviews. I guess she's super woke, but let's see.
That's so great. I mean, you joined Activision Blizzard in 2018 as commissioner of Call of Duty esports, and Call of Duty League launched in 2020, and you became the first female commissioner of any esports league. That's huge. I feel like this was new information for me. Like, as I was doing research and like looking into your story and background, my mind was just boggled. Like, that's so incredibly amazing. What did that moment or distinction feel like? Was there ever a time where it dawned on you the significance of being a woman leading a league like Call of Duty?
See what
It's
your
very kind of
response
you to
is.
say. I think you'll appreciate the fact that I did not know that was the case when I took the role. It was many moons after I'd already been in the role that somebody had said, "Hey, did you know that you're the first?" And so it did force me to pause and appreciate the magnitude of that. Again, let alone in a franchise as big and established as Call of Duty. What I think was so powerful about that was at no point, even when I was, being interviewed for the role, was
Mm-hmm.
that, you know, something that was done for optics or, some overt way of trying to force a woman into this role. They just really believed as a company that I was the best person for the job, and I believed I could really do the job well. And then when I did,
So she downplays that. You know, this girl is obviously, Melissa Yang is obviously super into social justice. That's like their whole grift. I'm sure it refined 29, where it's like, oh, fierce women, but she sidesteps that pretty well. Seems extremely talented at like not saying anything offensive, and just for some extra cringe, let's do another question here, where he tries, because I mean, you'd think like if she's like super social justice, she's like a people pleaser, that she would go out of her way to kind of like knock this out of the park. But this guy's gonna try and set her up too.
At a fast food place,
she handles it.
There's a lot to be learned right there on the front lines, and like you said, nothing goes to waste, whether it's from your athletics or your musical performance experience. At some point you can draw from that, right? And draw strength or learn, remember lessons, or maybe it helps you in a certain way. I think that's a really smart message.
Let's look at how this
you
guy
make the leap to the NFL. That's an amazing career move. Let's address the obvious. There's not a lot of females in the National Football League.
There isn't.
Can you talk about that from your perspective? Because I don't have that POV. Talk to me about how things are changing in pro sports, opportunities for women. I have 2 daughters, and I'm obviously trying to do my best to raise them to be strong, independent women, critical thinkers, badasses. I want them to be awesome. But help me understand, and maybe talk about some advice to other people who are younger, might be looking at you as a role model. How did you get there? What did you do, and how did you navigate that?
Yeah, so much of it is, of course, you got to control your content, right? You got to control the controllables, as you often hear in the
control the controllables,
world.
guys.
And what you can control, again, is your work ethic, the quality of your output, the deliberate rigor that you bring to anything in front of you. And so, back to your point about nothing goes to waste. Like, no job is too small, especially when you're in your 20s. I am definitely not in my 20s anymore, right? But it's not really getting caught up about like, oh, I want to be the chief fill in the blank one day, or I want to be president one day. Of course, we all, have those big aspirations and they should guide us.
Right.
Focus on what's in front of you. Focus on who is in front of you. Like, how do you create partnerships, relationships that can make you sharper each and every year?
So she completely sidesteps that question. Like, she doesn't mention anything about being a woman.
As
like,
you're
she goes on for a little while, but she doesn't really say anything like that. Control the controllables. Like, she is, from what I can tell from like all the interviews I read, like she is. It's like there's another interview. It's just like watching a Tim Ferriss or listening to a Tim Ferriss podcast. It's just nonstop crap. Like, control the controllables. I wear many hats. I'm a bridger. I mean, it's all just like corporate gobbledygook that doesn't say anything of any significance. And I think this is kind of like what she is. I don't think if she is woke, it's totally, I can't see it, or she's just a master of hiding it. She just seems like she was brought in as a corporate person. She's 100% super corporate. I don't know. No, this is a different article. And I think that's what she was there to do. She just carrying on, doing whatever Blizzard Activision asked of her. I think really it's not a good for Blizzard, honestly, because she isn't going to turn the ship around. She's just going to keep it going to where it's going, which doesn't really seem anywhere that good. She's just there to sort of manage it and control it. And she, like I said, doesn't seem like she's going to turn it woke. I mean, it already was woke. She's not going to really dramatically change anything. If anything, she's just going to help manage its further decline. Exactly. She is just a master of saying nothing in these interviews. Just sounds good, but totally hollow. And that's, I guess that's how she excelled. She's got the right gender, color. To her credit, she doesn't really make a big deal out of it in any of these things, any of these interviews, but she says nothing of significance for, in terms of creativity and how Blizzard's going to bring things back on the up and up. But, speaking of esports, sort of related, as former commissioner, esports in decline here. But we're going to talk about a recent interview that happened. Let's take a look at this. Listen to this and tell me what's going on here. No, let's actually full screen it.
Great. Talk to me about getting that comeback there on map number 4 to be able to even get to the S&D, because they were set up for about a minute, but you guys broke that and held that.
Yeah, honestly, we just believed, like I literally said believe, like I literally said start playing tighter towards that doesn't matter, but like, yeah, we got the piece P4, we got the castle row.
Look at this guy's body language.
And we just believed, and then we ended up breaking P1. Yeah, you know how it went.
Y'all definitely believed out there, okay? You came through, but you're still in this tournament. You got one more match tonight. For the few fans out there who are supporting y'all, even though y'all on the villain arc, what you want to say to them?
Appreciate the support for the real supporters.
There you go. You heard it from.
There you go. Now you probably think. Now, when I first watched this, I thought, "Oh wow, this guy's really awkward. He's kind of a nerd." But then I looked in the comments to this video, and a lot of people are talking about like Adderall and that kind of stuff. I'm like, I don't know. The guy just seems, he's. Cause you see this a lot in video games where the guy's socially awkward, kind of autistic. So he doesn't handle these high pressure interviews that much. But let's take a look at this sort of old interview with Illy here.
Los Angeles, give it up for Optic Texas as they progress on through to top 4. Illy, you guys look totally different today than you guys were yesterday versus
Look at this
LA
guy's
Bees.
body language here,
What
though.
did you guys have to do to get this victory done here against the Subliners in a 3-0 fashion?
Honestly, we just played our game, and honestly, I put all of yesterday on me. So now I'm going to turn up for the rest of the tournament, and we're going to take what's ours.
Hey, what a big man.
Look at this guy. He's chilling. Look at how confident he looks here. Like, yo, that's no big deal. I'm confident. Put it on his shoulders. Yeah. Says a little bit, a little bit of verbal tics, but he looks like pretty relaxed.
And now I know you guys got a lot of pressure on you, looking to get your second ring for a few of you guys. You, Shotzi, Scump, y'all already got one, but looking to get Bruce's first and your second. How you feeling progressing on there towards those finals? Y'all think y'all can get it done?
Oh, yeah, I'm feeling good. Oh, yeah, I know we'll get it done.
We'll get it done. Look at his body language there.
Now, talk to me about
Bruce. We're rocking back and forth. Seems relaxed.
He's about to turn up in his next
chewing
series.
some gum.
Yeah, Bruce is absolute fucking beast. Like, oh, my bad. But,
he's cussing. He's beast.
Y'all gonna show up and y'all gonna do y'all thing. I'm gonna let
I'll show up. You gonna do your thing. Let's take a look. Here's another.
And I want to get it while it's fresh. What was going on through your mind during that last
Then
round?
chew some gum.
Out there with the scope, holding out those angles. What was going on?
Same guy. This is the same guy he's interviewing in it.
The game plan was just to big dick them, to be honest. Like,
big dick him. He's talking trash. Talking trash.
And now we go into the hard points. You guys
talking some
what was the
trash.
Key there on those hard points? Was it the rotations, the gunfight?
The rotations and just communication.
Hear him. He's talking to a crowd.
Those are the two
big
things
win.
That I felt like
he seems fine.
And we're just gonna keep improving.
And let's let's go back and look at this interview again.
Great. Talk to me about getting that comeback there on map number 4 to be able to even get to the S&D, because they were set up for about a minute, but you guys broke that and held that.
Yeah, honestly,
look at his body language compared to the last one.
I literally said believe, like I literally said
towards
like, well, like it doesn't matter, but like, yeah,
look how much he's twitching. His head's twitching.
We got the castle roll, and we just
look at his eyes start bugging out.
Yeah, you know how it went.
Yeah,
especially at this point. Let me see if I can get a frame.
One more match tonight for the few fans out there who are supporting y'all, even though y'all on the villain arc. What you want to say to them?
Appreciate this.
Oh, look at that. His eyes just popping out of it. So, as you can see here, this led a lot of people to kind of think he is twitching out on Adderall, and this was his response from Illy. I just opened Twitter, and you guys are comedy. I was on caffeine, and the fans were screaming. So he is on caffeine, apparently. Of course, people responding, I trust the water in Flint, Michigan before I trust this tweet. I mean, you can see here, like, this guy is twitching like crazy.
There you go.
Support for the real supporters. Like, he cannot stand still. And he's just moving around like crazy. And then, again, here, he's chewing gum. He looks fine. He's not twitching like nuts. Same situation. These are like the same situations. He's been doing it for a while. So it does not seem like it's a personality, trait. This is, again, crazy. And they still left this up. I think this is this is like one esports, but this is still up. And this is leading people to kind of really question, is Call of Duty, is esports in general doing enough to actually protect its players, to test them? Because this is a guy that is clearly having some sort of reaction. I mean, you can't confirm that he's on it, on Adderall or some sort of narcotic here, but the way he's talking, the way he's moving, does not look good. And you have to wonder, like, is he endangering himself with these? If it is a potentially sort of a drug, Adderall induced like twitching and stuff, like, because this is apparently a very kind of big thing in Call of Duty, where they take these performance enhancers. I believe it is illegal in normal sports to take Adderall, and I think it's illegal here too. I don't know if illegal, but it's against the rules. It's not like you're not going to get arrested for it, but this sort of thing in competition to help kind of give you an edge on your focus. But when it's, a guy's, again, like freaking out like this is a really awkward interview. He does not seem like he's in a healthy spot here. So it is leading people to question whether or not Call of Duty isn't doing enough to protect its players and help enforce these sort of rules to make sure, one, they're not cheating, the sort of integrity of the competition, and two, the safety of the players, because this guy can have like some sort of heart attack after he overdoses on Adderall. What's it going to take for them to actually take it seriously and kind of crack down on this? There's already has been players that admitted that they were taking Adderall when they won, championships, and some people felt there wasn't enough done, but we'll see. And on a kind of funny note, even though this isn't that funny, seeing this guy in this sort of state, people changed his nickname from Illy to Pilly, which I thought was kind of funny in a sort of cruel internet sort of way. So Pilly, hopefully he gets help, and hopefully COD does some work here to get these players safe. And this is we'll move on. Now we're going to talk about Stellar Blade. They just came out with another trailer, which caused people to lose their mind. This is a tweet from Haru. 47, keep your bloody eyes open for any potential bait and switches with Stellar Blade. People were a little worried about it. Shift-Up is currently recruiting new development staff. Shift-Up has never responded to all of Nike's problems. Shift-Up was in a serious deficit and was invested by a Chinese capital. Leaked characters are 3 years worth. There is currently censored characters are at the level of no problems in Korea, but China is a problem. As a result, based on 3 years worth of data, Tencent will exercise monopoly operation. Shift-Up will go all out on the Stellar Blade. Tencent will continue to try and censor the game because it has a game release in China in mind. Information from Korea. So this Tencent, huge game publisher, Genshin Impact, very famously so, but very big company. I think it owns Riot Games as well. So they're a juggernaut in game development, based in China, and I think in a lot of ways responsible for a lot of problems or a lot of censorship in video games, because obviously China has those sort of rules in place at a government level. So for the releases, they intend to cover these characters up. Tencent, second biggest shareholder in South Korea studio Shift-Up, acquiring 20% stake in South Korea studio. Chinese megaport Tencent has become the company's second largest shareholder. Shift-Up is one of the co-creators behind mobile game Goddess of Victory Nike, together with Level Infinite. So they obviously created, and this is a different story that people found funny. Fun fact that a person in Shift-Up was fired, was a contractor, and happened to be a feminist complaining about fan service, and it happened during a shareholder negotiations of Tencent. This person was obviously fired because they were feminists, which honestly a great move from Shift-Up when your game is essentially relying on a lot of fan service. Allowing people like this to be in your company is pretty damaging. It was actually interesting with the contractor dispute. Kind of an aside is I was listening to a interview about Advance Wars. It was on Mang's channel. It covers a lot of Advance Wars stuff. The Advance Wars Reloaded, there was apparently some boob shake on one of Sammy's animations, and the contractor said they complained about it and had it removed because I thought it was disrespectful to her character. So I'm like, wow. I was on this guy's side until he mentioned that. Then I'm glad he got fired. But when you see this type of thing, contractors, the people that you sort of let into your company, can still do a lot of damage to your company, even if they're there temporarily. Oh, hello, Jack. Good to see you. So people were a little bit concerned about, is Tencent going to strong-armed this company in this game, which heavily relies on fan service, to change it. Watch, let's go to it, and then they came out with a new trailer, which, as like I said, was the catalyst for people to start talking about it again. If you notice in this trailer, there's like every cut she's wearing a different outfit.
Welcome to the world of Stellar Blade.
And the camera angles clearly placed
the story
for
begins
reasons.
on post-apocalyptic Earth, where a mysterious enemy called the
I want natives.
Her mission
Again,
is to save the
this is an older
planet by
thing.
defeating the Elder Natiba.
All we must do is complete the mission.
While most of the 7th Airborne Squad is lost during their descent from the colony,
Classic outfit.
5th Airborne Squad provides engineering support.
Lily Artemis II.
That's Lily.
Then I can be your engineering support.
She puts her technical knowledge
Does feel different.
wasteland, but
Just random
this place
gameplay
has
and
been
stuff.
overrun by Natibas.
But this was enough for people to get upset about it. A lot of people getting attention. Of course, people were their fears were kind of put to rest for Stellar Blade fans, as it doesn't seem like there's any censorship here on some of these outfits. This gentleman, digital media producer and interviewer, said the graphics of Stellar Blade and the gameplay look great. Absolutely, I can't get past the over-sexualization of Stellar Blade. It would have been passable if the female characters didn't look like they have the faces of a damn child. Really freaking weird. If you find this arousing, you need to get your hard drives and phone checked by the FBI. Of course, he got a giant ratio here for him. Didn't do well in terms of Twitter's the Twitter crowd. Again, there is a certain with these Korean faces, more like the Eastern, where it's like bigger eyes, this shape of the face, very standard for like anime style. Of course, if they're sexual, one of the easiest ways to shame people for it is to link it to some sort of pedophilia. That's very common, or call it porn. That seems to be the main tactics on people to sexually shame people for enjoying anything related to fan service. But I think that's it for Stellar Blade. But it does seem, at least for the fans of Stellar Blade, that there is no censorship at the moment. As you can see, there's some crazy outfits here. This game seems clearly focused on adding a bunch of different outfits, dressing up your character.
The drone is different.
This is no longer the drone you knew.
The sailor top here. I mean, I don't even know what that outfit was. Man, it's what kind of outfit's that? It's clearly no censorship going on here. They're really playing into it. They know what their fans want. If you've ever seen Nike Goddess of War, let me see. Let me show you. This is the Nike Goddess of Victory. This is let's see. Pop it in here. Wow, this website sucks. All right, this is just an install screen. I'm trying to find how hard is it to find a picture here? There we go. Nike Goddess of Victory, very much focused on. It's like a character collector focusing on girls, and quite more often than not, certain parts of the woman, which you can see in Nike. You can definitely see. Let's see, they actually show, yeah. But this probably wasn't the best example because he's kind of covers it. It's kind of cover up with a dress, but very focused on certain parts, for certain parts of the girl. It looks really good. It's not really my style of gameplay, and it being a PlayStation 5 exclusive, probably won't play it. If it comes on PC, maybe. But at least the fans are getting what they want. Unlike the next game we're going to talk about, which is the Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad, not off to a good start. Suicide Squad servers taking offline after complained auto-completes. Talking about launch problems. Big game Suicide Squad. Rocksteady has pulled Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League offline after players reported that the story campaign auto-completed, and the studio is looking into the issue. Wherever a number of players are currently experiencing an issue where upon logging into the game for the first time, they have the full story completion. So you automatically win the game just by buying it. So this was a pretty funny bug for the game. As pre-orders, those who pre-ordered the game got to play it 72 hours early ahead of its official February 1st release. The game went live in New Zealand. Players in other territories set their Xbox console to match the region or to play the game early as well. After playing about 5 hours during the hands of pre, we can feel that Rocksteady's third-person shooter has cool ideas that sometimes work against each other. So this was off to a bad start, but what people really got mad about is the sort of treatment of its heroes in the game.
Joker.
This is obviously called Kill the
Justice
Justice League. And this is supposedly in the same world as the Arkham City games, which starred Batman.
You had a good run, Brucey. Flying around Gotham, punching bad guys, cleaning up the streets, causing long-term mental and emotional damage to everyone you knew. It's our turn now. After all we've been through.
Harleen the Queen is her shirt.
Are we done with your bad stand-up routine?
Almost. But you always gotta end on your best joke.
There we go. Batman killed in Kill the Justice League. They actually kill everybody, apparently. So a lot of people kind of felt that was wasn't really given the send-off he deserved, even if it was, about the characters turning evil. And then, of course, we have Flash.
And so the Flash has expired. He saved our lives, yet we ended his. As honorable warriors, we will show proper respect to this fallen hero by...
Show a little class, man. Holy shit. Congratulations.
Apparently they pee on him. In this, kind of disrespectful as well. But you think, it's Kill the Justice League. It's kind of meant to be kind of, sort of an edgy take on it. They're villains, kind of like turned superheroes, so they're going to be kind of like anti-heroes, kind of edgy, disrespectful. They're not holding these guys up as icons, kind of tearing them down. That's what the game's meant to do. But let's take a look at Wonder Woman. How are they going to handle Wonder Woman here? Let's take a look.
I'm sorry, Kal-El.
prepared.
Shark, help me carry her in.
What, they're not going to piss on her?
Thought the four of you couldn't achieve anything. Prove me wrong.
Of course, yeah, this stuff was from True Pop Culture. So, it's weird. Weird that Wonder Woman seems to get the hero send-off that the other characters don't seem to get. I mean, that's got to be just weird, right? But let's take a look at Wonder Woman's bio. Holy smokes. If you want to read something cringy there. Let's see if this comes up on... Does this come up on the screen? Let's take a look. All right. I think you can... This might be a little hard to read. Let me see if I can open the image in a new tab. I guess I can't really zoom in too much on this. But I'll read it for you. This is from the files of Lex Luthor, who's a big Superman villain. Evil billionaire. I'm prone to wild imaginings as a man of science. Speculation is how my brain finds leisure, and the closest thing it knows to play. But there's little amusement to be found in imagining how improved the Earth would be if instead of forcing the Amazons into hiding with our cruelty and avarice, we had instead looked into them as a model. Replicable, if only we could set aside our baser instincts. They've solved so many of our society's ills: broken democracy, lagging technology, toxic masculinity. And thus, they flourish through higher learning, mutual aid, and governance without cruelty. They are a golden society who deserves to be as secret as they are. Enter Wonder Woman. I assume because one of them wonders why a woman of her caliber and ancestry would leave paradise to play in the mud with us. Oh my God. He's talking about avarice. He's a billionaire, evil billionaire. Holy smokes. Themyscira, the Amazons, apparently the greatest society. If only women ruled the world, there'd be no wars. Level cringe. Holy smokes. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous writing. And this is actually what pisses me off. I don't care, like, they disrespect the superheroes, but when you stop halfway, because apparently you can't talk bad about a woman, you have to give them the hero send-off, it just comes off as cheap. And not everyone was happy with it. Obviously, there's a lot of people having a lot of issues with how this game is written. This is from IGN by Simon Cardy. Elizabeth won anyone. I really want to love Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. I love Rocksteady's Batman's Arkham series. I love open world superhero action. I've even had short but passionate affairs with looter shooters, but sometimes about this particular intersection, all those things just doesn't sit right. Whether it be underwhelming loot systems, bland repetitive mission design, or hollow post game, I just can't see myself wanting to play much more that I burned out past the campaign story. That's a big problem for a live service game, aiming to keep our attention for months, not years on end. It's also a shame there's a good story to be told, and a well-made cutscenes with snappy writing and performances carry a lot of weight. Beyond that, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League never consistently offers up enough fun to go toe-to-toe with successful games in this genre. It kind of goes on. Excels in one of his final turns as the Dark Knight. See, the story itself goes, it doesn't take a brain to work out what's causing the Justice League to act all sorts as a wreak citywide destruction, glowing eye glee. A traditional Superman villain Brainiac is hatched an evil plan to take over the planet, remake it his own creation. Blah, blah, blah. There's no small part, thanks to phenomenal character work and script writing that brings each member of the cast to life. Successful banter between charming and insufferable along the tightrope thin line between charming and insufferable. It kind of goes on. He just says it's pretty fun, but he doesn't seem to like it all that much. Writes a lot of it. Damn, he writes a lot. I don't think this is the same same thing I was looking at before. They end up giving it a 5, though, I believe. So it wasn't not quite too happy with it. A lot of people not 5 mediocre. Verdict: Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is thoroughly frustrating game to clear. There are things to enjoy. Combat that's snappy enough to carry it through a genuinely good comic story. Hurtfully dressed in high production values, but everything just falls around it. Engaging mission design is nearly non-existent. The shooting mechanics are tired and dulled. Grotesque, repetitive post-game leaves nothing to do of interest. There's always a bit of a mess. Doesn't ever impress with all the numerous ill-conceived ideas. It's not bad. It's just disappointing. From Rocksteady, the pioneers of single-player story action and multiplayer trends. So, not even the gameplay is enjoyable for some people, and plenty of people seem to really hate the story. And some people, Tech here put out a comparison. I'll tell you what, you can probably tell after watching Nike Got Us War what's wrong in these two videos. This is a much older game on the left, Arkham Knight. This is Suicide Squad. I can see there's a clear difference here in these in Harley Quinn. It seems it kind of makes you question exactly what who Rocksteady made this game for. As they seem to have quite toned down some of Harley Quinn's assets here. Now, obviously, it's actually crazy how good Arkham Knight looks compared to Suicide Squad, but this could just be the fact they had to make it live service, always online, a lot more stuff happening in the game itself. But some people are blaming this, the writing and the clear feminism on a company called Sweet Baby Incorporated, who helped work on it. This is a company out of Montreal, founded in 2018. Sweet Baby Incorporated is a narrative development and consultation studio based in Montreal and working around the globe. Our mission is to tell better, more empathetic stories while diversifying and enriching the video games industry. We aim to make games more engaging, more fun, more meaningful, and more inclusive for everyone, which means less enjoyable for men. Let's be honest, and we look at projects, some big names here. Alan Wake, Spider-Man 2. Everyone loved the story in Spider-Man 2. God of War Ragnarok. Never heard of these two games. Show me more, though, as we go down here. And here we are on the bottom here, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. One of the games they worked on. And over here we got Memeology. On the left you have the screenwriter of the Arkham games, writer of the 90s Batman series, and co-creator of Harley Quinn. On the right, I assume that's Harley Quinn. On the right you have the two writers of Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, one of them being the CEO of Sweet Baby Incorporated. So we have this gentleman right here. And then this is a Sweet Baby Incorporated. We have these two ladies. So, as you can see, there might have been a difference of interests in what to make the game out to be, depending on who you want to write it for. But that is, guys, that is it for the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. As you can see, there seems to be quite a bit of a difference in this, where we're killing the heroes versus this. I don't want to make an East versus West thing, but who are these people making games for? When you got stuff like this,
extinction of all natives,
beautiful women, and of course we have people getting pissed on. They're literally peeing on these heroes. All right, guys, that's it for the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to join me next week. Of course, I should be playing on Friday, too. We'll be playing some Palworld again, I hope. Continuing on that. But other than that, enjoy your day. Be sure to like, subscribe. We're getting very close to 500... let me get off this. 500... well, actually, already passed 500. But in terms of the watch hours, be sure to watch the videos so we can get I'm almost to monetization. How do I open my YouTube studio here? Your videos. Here we go. Creator Studio. We're getting very close to getting it. We need just about 250 more watch hours, and then we will be able to qualify, eligible for monetization. You know, the super stickers, the memberships. I can add shopping experiences to my store. I don't think I'll be adding that, but yeah, 500.15. So all I need is a watch hour. So you can watch the videos. It's appreciated. I'll just continue to make content, and we'll get there. We're gonna get there eventually, but I appreciate the support. Yeah, as we get closer and closer to monetization. I'll see you guys later. Enjoy your Sundays. Take it easy, and hopefully the week ends up very good for you. Later.